Okay. So many people have struggles balancing deen, the religion,
Mm,
and balancing life, right? So
mm,
for example, I'll give something that I've heard from some brothers, right?
mhm,
Listening to music, absolutely addicted,
mm,
but they know it's haram.
mm,
And then another question, a follow-up question for that, for you is one person mentioned, music isn't haram if it's gentle. Say, for example, like, I don't know, jazz or whatever, something
mm.
on like the softer scale, not like drill or whatever. So what's your take on that? What's your advice for the Shia out there who are,
So if you're struggling with something that your religion believes is a sin, then obviously, there are ways of getting out. But before I discuss that, let's come on to the music aspect. So we have specific narrations from Imam al-Qadim alayhi salam, where he's literally said music is haram. So it's generally speaking, there's no question about it. We know it's haram. Whether you listen to it or not, that's between you and Allah. It's your own deeds. You're going to your own grave. However, Imam Qadim alayhi salam one day was walking past a house that was playing music, and the Imam alayhi salam said that the angel of mercy will not enter this house and the people within the house will not be forgiven for what they're doing. And the Imam walked past that house. He didn't even like go inside or stop or anything. So that shows us that music is haram when we know that. But then when you delve more into music, it can be broken down into factions. So number one, the lyrics. Number
Mhm.
two, the beat and the instruments. Number three, the reaction that you have when you listen to it. So when you look at all three things together, if, for example, the lyrics are vulgar and disgusting, then it's haram on that basis.
Mhm.
Secondly, if it's the beats, then obviously instruments other than the daf, which was like a drum used in war, there is no instrument that the religion of Islam allows us to use. So we can't be using pianos and guitars and flutes and violins and saxophones, right? So that's the aspect of the beat, right? So it's not
Mhm.
just haram because of one or the other. So the lyrics is one aspect, the instruments that's the second aspect, and then how you feel when you listen to it is the third aspect. So if you're listening to a song and it makes you feel like getting up and dancing, for example, then you can clearly see that's not something that's allowed in the religion of Islam. However, when we look at our fiqh and we look at the maraja that we have, may Allah bless them all, Ayatollah Sistani, for example, mentions that classical music, right, such as instrumental music with no lyrics, just beats, but certain instruments, has a positive effect on the psyche of a person. So, for example, back in college, when I was studying sociology, we were told that if you listen to classical instrumental music whilst revising, it has more chances of you retaining that information than it
Mhm.
is for you to be sitting in complete silence and then trying to revise or try to learn, for example. So music in itself, we know it's haram, and those that struggle with it, there are ways, to get out of it. So, like, for example, so now, especially when it comes to instruments nowadays, right, because we're evolving in this technological, time, they're not actually using instruments; they're creating beats online,
Mhm.
right? So those
That's
people that
true.
create instrumentals, or they're into the whole beats and creating background music, for example, they're not actually using instruments, they're using electronic sounds that are
Yeah.
created via the computer as opposed to a piano.
Yeah.
That now opens another spectrum of questions. Is that allowed? Because technically it's not an instrument. So,
Mhm.
for example, like, we have our latmiya and we have our mankabats, etc. That's how I did it. If music is addictive and you like, the beat and to listen to something, listen to, for example, Daniel Bujbara, listen to, for example, what's his name, Haider Bayati, listen to, these famous people that recite Latmiya. There's another one, Mujtaba Al-Ka'bi. These are my three favorite, right? If you listen to them, they have like that, as in,
Yeah.
but from the throat though. So it's not an instrument, right?
Mhm.
And then at the same time, it's very like, upbeat, and it's a lot of it is good for gym. I know so many brothers that tell me that they have a
100%.
playlist
Yeah.
where they've got all these, latmiyas in there because it gives them that motivation. So yeah, so struggling between religion and struggling between obviously your life, you have to remember Islam is a way of life. This is something that people don't understand.